Alright, so now it's time to sort out that front brake. So here is the front brake that was damaged. I've cleaned it up. I've straightened out this bracket that was basically at about a 45-degree angle. It was very bent. Heated it up, hammered it straight, and put it back on. So I was going to paint it black, but I'm not going to bother until I know that it's straight and everything lines up. If it's good and everything's working, I can take this off, spray paint it with some metal paint, and put it back together. At the same time, I cleaned up my caliper, checked the pads, all good, and everything seems to work. So we're going to align it and get it back on. Okie dokie, so front brake caliper on. This is the repaired bracket that was really bent. Clean up the bolts, make sure you put your spacer in right here between the lug and the bracket. There's like a 3/4 inch or 1 inch spacer that goes in there, that little silver thing. Torque those down, and then make sure that your wheel spins freely. And then fingers crossed, I'm going to spin this and then squeeze the brake. There we go. Spin again. Yep, so we got brake pressure. I'm going to bleed the brakes, replace the brake fluid. I've got a new brake lever to put on. But good, looks like we've got working front brakes now. The only thing I'm missing is my speed sensor. You'll notice on the inside of the disc here there is 2 of these rare earth magnets recessed into the rotor. That's one. Turn it again and you'll see the second one right there. So you want to make sure those are still good and magnetic. Find the other one. There you go. So that's what tells the computer the speed you're going and figures out how many miles you've gone. So there is a little metal bracket which I need to look for, and my speed sensor cable which goes up to the speedo. So this is the old speed sensor, and the wiring got completely stripped and destroyed. That's the end that plugs into your speedo wiring, and that's the actual speed sensor itself. So you can see the wires. It's a 3-wire connection, just got severed in the accident. So I could probably resolder this, but you know, they're not very expensive. I think it was about, I have to look it up, 15-20 bucks for a new speed sensor. They're pretty universal. 3-wire speed sensor. And it even comes with a couple of extra magnets if you need them. I'm going to just reuse my old ones for now. So, time to install this. And that's the bracket, basically. And this bracket goes right here, like so. I think. Yeah, right here, in the front. And then you thread your speed sensor into it so that it lines up the end of it perfectly. So there's the old speed sensor. There you go. Does that make sense? So that's the top of this. The head of the speed sensor is going to line up with the face of the magnets. As it turns, that magnetic click is going to tell it it's the speed you're going. Okay. Yeah, no, it's not going to go on the inside. It's going to go, I think, on the outside. And then you'll set the distance. So on the face side here is where you'll bolt this to. So let's do that. Find the right threaded. There you go. That one looks good. as he drops it. So I'm just going to do it loosely, finger tight, just to see how everything connects. It's probably bent, it probably needs to be straightened. Pull out the old one, get rid of the old one, pull out the new one. This one's, they're the magnets, not going to need those for now. So you can go all the way in and out on this. So the thing to do would be to put one down and take one off. Put that through. Yep, that's going to be perfect. Alright, so this is going to have to come all the way down, 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 down. Now you're going to have to experiment with where this goes so that it exactly lines up with your... Alright, that looks good. And then thread the one on the front. Sorry, I'm not doing a very good job with the camera here. I'm trying to get it so that you can see what I'm doing. Perfect. I would imagine, I don't know for certain, about 1/2 inch is probably 3/4 of an inch. I don't think you want it too close. You don't want it too far away, just enough so that the magnet, you're going to have to, if it's not working when the bike's running, you either haven't connected it correctly or it isn't aligned with your speedo sensor. So I'm going to just tighten this here. I'm going to go handheld for a second. So that's the magnet and there's the sensor. So as I turn the wheel, there you go. It's aligned absolutely perfectly now with the sensor. But if you keep going, you do not want those bolts that hold your rotor on to hit it. So alignment. So you're basically just lining this up and lining this up so that it's level with it, which I think looks pretty good. And then you just tighten up these two nuts here and here, and you should be good to go. All I have to do now is run the wiring up my brake cable, connect it. As you can see on the brake cable, you've got little connectors. That's for the speedo wire. I've got a couple of them here and here. Oh, focus. No, it's not focusing. Here and here, and then connect it up top in the wiring loom. I'm going to look for the where it's been disconnected. Alright, so here's the speed sensor attached on its bracket. As you can see, it lines up perfectly with the magnet. As it goes around, does not hit the bolts. Everything's nice and smooth. Cables are now run. Oh, the only thing I was going to mention is there are 3 bolts that hold the fork guard, this plastic fork guard, and the inside one is an absolute nightmare to put on if you've already got your wheel on. If you put this on first, if you put the this fork guard on first with the wheel off, then you'll be able to get to these 3 bolts on the sides here, 1, 2, and then the inside one tucked down in the bottom here, 3. If you do what I did, which was reattach the wheel and then put this on last, how the heck are you going to get in here to tighten this up? I had to take an old Allen and then cut it down to just a little 1/2 inch stubby so that it would go in and reach like so. There you go. There's my Allen in, and then I can tighten it up by hand. Finger tight in and then use the Allen to finish it off. But this is the only way I could get a tool in here to tighten up that bolt. So trick would be to put this on first with the wheel off. I didn't want to take everything apart and then do that up and then put it all back together. So like I said, just made a cut down short Allen key to fit the head here, and then I could do it. So keep that for the future. If I need to take these off again, I've got the right tool to do it without having to pull the wheel. Other than that, cables run one on the inside. Speedo cable runs up the front. You've got connecting brackets here all the way up to hold the wiring, and I've still got to find where it plugs in at the back here. Brake calipers on, everything's tight here, everything spins. We have brake pressure. Just need to bleed the brakes, add some clean fluid, and we'll be good on the front brake. Well, we got the front brake on, all the wiring done, cables done. As you can see, I've got a broken front brake lever, and this is my replacement one, which is a Kayo replacement part. And zoom in on that. Came from Salinas Motorcycle Center. There's the part number if you need it. I think this was about $35. But it is unique to this, so I was hoping that I could pick up one for a 250 CRF that would fit, but it does not. A friend of mine's got a 250 CRF, and I looked at his, and it's got different what's that? Oh, casting, I think is the word. Different casting for it to fit. So one bolt holding it on, and then an adjustment screw there. So pull that bolt, pop this in, and we should be good with a new brake lever.